What these companies do is that they make false promises on things that they can't follow through with. In actual sense, it is false advertising. If someone took £50 out of your wallet and then gave it back 7 days later, would you say that's okay? I wouldn't. Hi everyone, today I wanted to do a quick video talking about shenanigans whilst ordering things online and whether online businesses are taking advantage of the lockdown, as well as the follow-up status to some of my purchases while shopping online. Okay, I need to take this off. And this. Okay, now we can talk. So with the last month's lockdown, I'm sure many of you have been going online to shop, either to satiate your shopping addiction or just out of boredom. But have you noticed that sometimes there is a slowdown in communication or a pushback of your delivery times without notifying you? Well, both of these things have been happening to me, and that's why I wanted to share this discussion with you. From looking at the grand scheme of things, a lot of businesses seem to be doing better than they usually would. However, now here's my question. What steps are they taking in order to cope with that extra workload to ensure that our user experience does not change or actually is improved? So far as my experience goes in the last month, there has been no changes to increase workforce to cope with this change. Either that or bad policy making in general. Let me quote an example. Recently, I made an order with MuscleFood.com, as you guys will know if you've been following my vlog. Everything was going according to plan. The delivery was as scheduled like before, all until my order arrived. What I came to realize were certain items were out of stock and I was not notified, so lack of communication number one. I was also not notified whether I would be refunded for the items not delivered. Miscommunication 2. Now I had to actually follow up proactively and launch a inquiry to ask them about that. In doing so, I found on their website's FAQs, basically in the usual instance, the money would be refunded before the delivery, so there shouldn't be a problem there. Okay, so lack of manpower, that's okay, like I understand, but in the foreseen circumstances of what is happening now, a huge surge in order making, shouldn't companies be taking special steps to ensure customers are not taken advantage of? Or that there is no possible misunderstanding, such as like an overcharged order or items missing and no news about that? Shouldn't companies be checking their orders manually before they charge the client? Like they actually check their warehouses to see if they have the product before they charge the client. Isn't that the way that they should be doing things? See, that's where my point comes into play, when companies are taking advantage of their customers by customer demand increasing but not enough supply being given. Therefore, they use lack of manpower as an excuse for overcharging clients, and although they don't actually profit more from this, they actually hold more capital and more funds into their company than they usually would, meaning extra cash flow and more things they can do with that cash flow during that period. Let me quote an example. If I had £10,000 on an investment for a month and I was getting interest on that, then, well, I've lost a month of interest. But because that amount is not very big for the individual customer, people fail to notice this. But when small sums add together, it turns into a bigger pile of money, and as long as no one's complaining, they get away with it. I know this actually happens in the corporate world very often, like taking advantage of employees, or if countries have like some sort of mandatory contribution scheme. Insurance companies and employers might work together to take advantage of their employees through shifting forward and backwards on people's insurance contracts, like health insurance or such and such like. But I'm just talking on a consumer level here. And what we need to take note of is that every time we make a purchase online, especially nowadays in this current situation, I think we need to be careful about whether we can trust that company to do the right thing with our money. So say if I made 10 purchases and 5 or 6 of those merchants were slightly dishonest and delayed my order, or perhaps held my money for longer than they needed to, or holding too much, like an overcharge. So if they overcharge you for an order but no action was taken about it for a longer period of time, and they do that with 100 customers, then they have extra funds from those 100 customers. In the same sense, if you make 10 purchases and 5 of them or 6 of them are doing this kind of thing to you, then technically your money is, being leveraged by other people when you should have it in your bank account or like wherever you feel safe to have it. And now that I'm hearing a lot of people are actually struggling because of being laid off, unemployment, unable to get universal credit, or unable to get the 80% from the government in the UK on their current job, then, money becomes really important. And these companies are taking advantage of your livelihood. So see how my point starts to snowball into a bigger deal. Like, sometimes you have to bring it into more extremes to prove a point. Another example. This mask I got today, CYCL face guard, is basically like a filter mask, and it says on the website that apparently it's better than most face masks on the market. This thing sells for a lot, and I ordered more than one, and it's not for bragging rights, but basically what happened was I ordered like at a similar time to when I ordered from MuscleFood. Like, I ordered the mask on the 26th of March, and then on the website at that time, and I've actually got video proof because I filmed the website by recommending people that they could try and buy masks from there back then. And on the web page, on the index page, it said pre-order now for delivery of at the start of April. Okay, so if you go on the website now, it will say maybe like mid-April, or if it's like a foreign distributor, like for example, I heard from my family, they said if you try and order this mask through like a Hong Kong website, Hong Kong distributor, it says the end of April right now. But when I ordered it, it says start of April, right? So I expected, probably start of April. What these companies do is that they make false promises on things that they can't follow through with. And technically, no one can really blame them for it. But in actual sense, it is false advertising. False advertising not on the actual quality or the build of the product, but the timeliness at which they can deliver the product. So take Amazon for example. They will tell you very clearly when you can get the product by. And before, I actually made a video saying, oh, it seems like Amazon is getting a bigger delay for their delivery times. But at least right? Like, if you were trying to get toilet roll 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, probably you have to wait like a month. But now it's probably back to like 1 week for delivery. But at least right? Once I completed the order for these masks, what happened was I got an automated email saying, here's your tracking number, and then we'll update you, like email you, or you can opt to have text updates. As soon as we dispatch or like update your status of the delivery, then we'll update you. And I didn't actually get an update until like the 17th of April. And then they said, we've received your order, we're starting to process it, and then we'll update you once it's been dispatched. And I actually got these masks this morning. My cleaner actually brought them to me when I ran into her. They were delivered through a third party. They were delivered through Royal Mail, and that's fine as long as I get the parcel. But it's like CYCL didn't send me an email, didn't send me a text updating me that, oh, your parcel has been delivered. Like, even don't like, I've seen like on TikTok, like people do these funny videos comparing like different delivery services, and they said one was like especially bad. I don't know if it was this one. I got a delivery from like a company called like Hermes before, and yeah, that was pretty good. Like they told me like, oh, we're delivering your product, and then like as soon as it was delivered, they sent me like an email or like an update, and they were like, oh, we've delivered your product, and I found it in the conservatory. Great. But they promised that it would be the start of April, and then it was pushed back to the next batch to mid-April. They didn't update me on that, and also they didn't update me when it was delivered, like they also promised. Every promise that they made, they failed to deliver. So what does that tell you about a company on their policies of, taking care of the client? Obviously not a very good one. Would I be trusting these companies with a medium-sized order again? Probably not. And probably if it was not essential that I buy from them, I won't be buying from them again. I mean, I will actually be doing a separate video targeted at talking to businesses about how, you should be working to keep your customer loyalty and not your short-term immediate profits, because those only last you a few months or a small amount of cash into the boss's pocket. But in the long term, it damages your business reputation and the overall intangible value of your business so much more than that small amount of short-term profit that you're going to make extra out of your clients. And I know this because I've run 2 of my own businesses before, and the last thing I would ever do, or actually not do at all, is take advantage of my clients. Even like, I got tempted once, like, like the first time you see a big order, like, I don't know, like £4,000 or something. It was a very early stage of my business. A thought actually popped into my head once, thinking like, hey, people who run businesses and like, they get big orders. What if they just ran away with that money? But then I thought that was like absolutely stupid, because like people would never trust you again. And not to mention it's illegal, you get arrested, get into trouble, all that. But it was a thought. And, that in a way, I actually appreciate having that thought, because like then your brain counteracts that thought and with your own set of morals, and tells you that why you shouldn't do it, why it's bad. And that actually taught me a lesson or two. Right at this point, although I think like that mask is probably like a good product, I don't really care that much about it anymore, like for now. Because like, number one, I don't like ever go out. Like I've only been out like once in the last month, and I probably foreseeable will only go out once a month until this thing is over. So I'll probably end up giving it to my friends, but for their safety. Lesson learned. I hope everyone takes something away from my insane ramblings today, and please use your money wisely, because it's more valuable than you think and could come in useful in your most unexpected and most desperate of times, even if you do have ample amounts of money. The wise man always treats every dollar as if it was his last. So, thank you very much for listening to my talk today. Please give us a like if you enjoyed the video, comment down below, tell me of your experiences or what you'd like to add to this discussion. Above all, please subscribe to this humble YouTuber's channel. I will be doing more updates on many different categories, from fitness to health and hygiene, help for aspiring YouTubers or social media influencers, my experience about internet marketing, website making, business building, all of that. And if you ever get bored and want to watch how I'm getting on during the lockdown and how I'm managing as a really bad cook, or just how I'm living my life in general, then check out my lifestyle vlogs. Okay, enough said. Aside from turn on notifications, you need to turn on all notifications in order to receive all the things I said. So please do that and have a great one. I will see you in the next one. Banter out. Peace. Being fair though, and talking about both sides of the argument, in defense of MuscleFood, I have to say that they managed to refund my money within about 7 days of my delivery being delivered, which is somewhat a standard, as I've heard. I asked my parents and they said even big supermarket brands in Hong Kong usually refund unavailable items from the order within 7 calendar days. But if someone took £50 out of your wallet and then gave it back 7 days later, would you say that's okay? I wouldn't, so it's not okay. And that's speaking in the context that you weren't asked for your permission beforehand.